thinking about what would be an alternative for me to do. So I was applying as a for an artist management job position, I was doing like almost 6 years. So I was representing musicians, TV hosts, and content creators. And after 6 years, I decided to go back to university. Oh, you can't hear me? Is it? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but very quietly. Is it possible to improve the sound?
Is it better now? Hello? Or maybe. Is it better now?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
because I changed my headphones, sorry. Um, yeah, maybe I start from the beginning or yeah, I studied law in Hanover. I was born in Germany in Hamburg and grew up in Hanover. And then I studied law, graduated a few years ago, but I wasn't working as a lawyer from the very beginning, as I thought that I didn't really couldn't identify myself with the people I was studying with. So I decided to work as an artist manager for 6 years, where I was representing musicians, TV hosts, actors, and content creators. And within this job, I always did negotiate, draft, and check production agreements or label agreements and all that. And after 6 years, I decided to go back to university to do a master, which was focusing on IP law. And after that, I thought I would likely start my own company, which was 3 years ago. So since 3 years, I founded my own law firm here in Berlin, where I predominantly giving legal advice on musicians and also people from the film industry and in general creative people. This is my focus when it comes to legal advice. Yeah, that's kind of in my small introduction. Um, as a music lawyer, I mostly check contracts, draft, or negotiate them. The contracts mostly deal with entering a contract with a label or a music publishing company, or with people who are collaborating on a track, or artists who are about to entering into an agreement with artist management agencies. Most of the time I am in the back when it comes to the contract, so I'm not really communicating with the third parties, but some artists do prefer to me doing all the negotiating in order to focus on their art. But some artists are also very about to have everything in control. So they just let me check the contracts, giving them advice, and they are trying to negotiate them by themselves. What I'm also doing is when you are within your creative process and you are about to produce a song and wish to use maybe some samples from tracks which are already existing, there's always the question if you are allowed to use it without asking for permission, or if you can just use it without getting in touch with the original rights owner. This is in Germany, there's a difference to make when it comes to using samples. So in this case, I sometimes getting charged and try to consult on how to approach these kind of procedure, because if you use samples from already existing tracks, there could be the possibility that the rights owner will approach you with a legal letter, or in the worst case, with an injunctive relief to ask you to not use his sample anymore, or and pay damage fees for using the sample. So when it comes to the creative process and you're about to using beats or tracks which are already existing, it would be recommendable to always consult a lawyer as well. On the other hand, I'm also giving advice on if you're planning to establish your own company, if it's a production company, a label, or a music publishing, and you're not sure which legal structure you want to give the company. There's also the opportunity to consult a music lawyer to figure out which legal structure makes sense when you're founding a company. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm not very often at court, which I really which I really like, because I'm not the one who's arguing a lot. I really prefer to draft contracts and negotiate and talk about it. But if it's no way to find a solution off court, then I'm also willing and supporting in fighting for the rights of the artist or the respective company at court. Yeah, that's quite of a summary of my work or my daily business. So I don't know if you have ever get in touch with a lawyer, or if you have any questions when it comes to work with a lawyer. So just feel free to yeah, ask.
Actually, I do have a question. Sorry about that.
All right, I got one question. I think because music lawyers, I feel like to artists can be a bit mysterious. There's something you hear a lot about, but you don't really. It's they're a little bit like publishers. They're just a bit like you know of them, but you don't really know a lot about them. So I guess one would be: do you find that there's like a particular point in an artist's career when it's advisable to start contacting one, or do you feel like it's really just varies depending on who, like where depending on the artist, the situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite funny that you are saying that a music lawyer seems like a mystery, because in my eyes, I think it's very usual to consult a music lawyer. So yeah, it's always a question of money, which is which is mostly the thing that people won't hire a lawyer. But I think when it comes to contracts, which can be complicated, and if you're not really familiar with how to negotiate some clauses, especially when it comes to granting your rights to labels or music publishing companies, because there are some phrases which you can't really define if you're not familiar with these kind of clauses. It would be better to consult a lawyer, or as I said at the beginning, when you are in the creative process and don't know that you are not allowed to use tracks which are already existing or part of the tracks. And when it comes to an injunctive relief or a court file, the fees would be much higher than consult a lawyer upfront. That's my opinion. So it would be, yeah, I think sometimes a first consultation, which is much cheaper than hiring a lawyer for drafting a contract, maybe would be helpful to get an overview of the things that you are doing.
Awesome, man. I think that's super useful because, like I said, I think there's sometimes artists are sort of wondering when to contact and, you know, when is it too soon? You know, is it not soon enough? So super helpful. And one last question I had is, you know, other aspects is, are there like what aspects of your job do you enjoy most and what aspects do you not particularly enjoy as much?
I pretty much enjoy working with creative people as I'm a very passionate music consumer. I'm not singing, I'm not playing any instrument, but I love listening to music. So I really enjoy working with creative music people. That's why I choose these legal topic. But what I don't like is really getting at court, because you never know what happens on court. Even if you think you have the right arguments and prepared for like a week to get to court, the result can be like of your imagination. So I pretty much prefer to talk to creative people when it comes to contracts and the negotiation and the checkup of the contracts, but not really getting to court. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Looks like we got one question.
Yeah.
Over here. Since we're in Germany, how could we transfer the English terms, especially concerning copyrights, that we learn at our university into exact German terms?
I mean, we have, there's a German copyright, but the German copyright is based on the European copyright. So there are, at least when it comes to the EU, the copyrights are mostly similar. So I don't know if this answers your question, because but you can, it depends when you drafting a contract, which law should be valid for the contract. If you are entering a contract where the UK law should be valid, then the UK law would be the case when it comes to misunderstandings or disputes. But if you are choosing the German law, then the German Copyright Act would be valid for the contract. But it doesn't make any difference if it's in German or if it's in English. It depends on which copyright law you are using when you are entering into a contract.
Awesome, thank you. I think, and if you want more detail on that, Jochen, go ahead, ask away. We've got another question. What would you say to someone who's had a copyright infringement but doesn't have money for a lawyer? I think that one's I'm sure that's of interest to artists.
Yeah, in Germany you have the chance to get free consultation when you get it's called Beratungshilfe. When you get to court, you have to fill in forms, and when they see that your income is very low, you are able to get a document which allows you to consult a lawyer for, I think it's €15, and the lawyer have to give you this consultation when it comes to copyright infringement. And there are also some organizations who are offering 1-hour consultations where you're just paying, I think, €20 or something. That could be sometimes very helpful as well.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, and I think another source is Music Pool Berlin. I think they offer
right. Yeah.
I think they offer some very cheap as well for artists.
Yeah. Exactly, music pool, and they are also offering workshops. I actually did 2 workshops about legal topics with music pool. Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions or something?
I guess I have one more, especially I think for artists. How can artists go about protecting themselves legally and making sure that, I guess, they potentially maybe don't need a music lawyer, just protecting themselves or things maybe artists wouldn't, and maybe younger artists, even experienced artists in the industry, might not necessarily think of in regards to legal protection.
You mean when it comes to creating a song or in general? Because in Germany we have the German Copyright Act says that as soon as you create a song, you are automatically the right owner. So if someone is copying or stealing parts of your song without making a whole new creation out of it, he's actually, or she's actually not allowed to do it. So the problem in real life is that you have to prove that you are the right owner. So, but you can prove it when you maybe have a digital track that this could maybe proof that on which day or year you produced the song, which could be a proof that you were the first one who created the song after the one who stealed the parts or the complete song.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's always good to know because I think there's a lot of uncertainty about, sort of that. I guess some of it, I think, would just come with experience about how artists can kind of go about making sure they're legally protected when they're writing and down the process as well. Um, do you have any good because this seems like something that would be of interest, like kind of books or resources. So of course, like music pool for things like when you're actually doing the consulting, but any kind of good books where you feel like, yeah, I think this has some pretty relevant information.
Yeah, there are. I actually got one here, but it's in German. It's called, yeah, I only know German books. So this one called Die neue Praxis im Musikbusiness, which is not very big and very easy to to read. And they also do have contracts at the back. So I think this is a very helpful one to start getting an idea of the music business and how it works and which people are involved within the music business. And it's not that expensive. I think it's like 20 or 25 euro. Yeah. But I know there is also English book, but I can't think of the title. I have to look after it. So sorry for that.
No worries. Thank you. Those resources are super useful because that's, I think anything on this, to help, especially help young artists prevent them from getting in situations where it's like, oh, now I definitely need a music lawyer because,
Yeah.
And with your master's, it was specifically law, wasn't music law. You got your experience with artists after you had graduated.
My master was focusing on IP, intellectual property in general, but IP is also, music law is part of IP. So, but I think that most of my experience I got when I was working as an artist manager, because working as a music lawyer, on the one hand, it's good to have the legal expertise when it comes to copyright law, but you also need to know how the industry works. So for me, it was a big advantage to also had the experience working as an artist manager, because the negotiation is not always about the legal topics, but also on how to work together. And if you are just working as a lawyer, you're not always involved in the negotiation from the very beginning. So as an artist manager, you are part of the procedure of the collaboration from the very beginning. So this was very helpful for me when I started working as a music lawyer, because I know how it works somehow. But it's not, I think it's not always necessary to have this experience, but for me especially, it was very helpful.
Yeah, it's the role of the manager is very interesting, particularly for us music business students here. Management's a big role. A lot of them take on.
Yeah.
Do you find that most of your contact is with like managers?
Sorry?
Do you find that most of your contact within an artist team is with the manager? If an artist is at the stage where they have like a team of people?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Oh, sorry. Let me know if my mic is not working at max capacity. Do you find that you typically communicate with artist managers within an artist team?
It depends. I mean, it's always who is behind. Yeah, how they're working. But I had the experience that most of when I was working as an artist manager, I barely was in contact with the lawyers of the artists. But when it came to the situation that I had to deal with the lawyers, I was like, oh my God, why are the artists not able to negotiate by themselves? But I think that from the point of view of an agency, artist agency, they prefer to talk to the lawyer, and they're always like a bit hesitating when it comes to talking or negotiating the contracts with a lawyer, because they expect lawyers to be very strict on the clauses and phrases. So then it makes it harder for a lawyer to find a good basis to get the contract negotiated on the favor of your artist, because they always they are how do you say, they're biased when it comes to working with lawyers, so it's not always easy to talk with them.
Awesome, yeah, thank you. That can be interesting to see, because I can imagine being a music lawyer, it seems like who you communicate with in an artist team would be interesting. For sure. Now, by the way, so might be wrapping things up a bit soon if you guys don't have any additional questions. It's super interesting because I've always found the role of the music lawyer. I studied music business, so it's always a very, it's a very interesting area.
It is. I had the experience that people are always thinking that it's very boring, because I mean, law is boring, but if you have the chance to find your topic which makes fun, and I think working with creative people and musicians is more interesting than maybe working on accidents or rent law. But but all in all, law can be very boring sometimes. Yeah, it's not always that exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 'cause I think it's like I think when a lot of people think of musical, at least maybe this is for me, it's you think about these big court cases, you hear $1 million, $1 billion like for infringement cases. Those are the things that come to people's minds. Mm-hmm. So for guys, it's always seen as this big thing, you know, like, oh, we got a music lawyer, guys, you know, seems legit, like.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think we might be closing up. If you guys do not have any additional questions, I don't believe I see any in the Q&A.
I do have one question.
JB.
What would you recommend to a music business student who is interested in law and who might be wondering about maybe embracing a career as a lawyer in music business, music industry in general?
First of all, you need to study law. But if you are not willing to do the whole studies, there's also the possibility to do a master like I did. I mean, the master I did was not only open for people who studied law in the past, but also for people from the creative industry or even from the economic industry. So then you have the chance to maybe work as a consultant. So yeah, that would be maybe a possibility to avoid the whole law study here in Germany, to just find a master which also which is focusing on IP and especially the copyright or entertainment law. That would be an opportunity. And there are a lot of masters, right? Even in Berlin. I mean, I did my master in Berlin, and there's another master in Potsdam who's especially focusing on digital law, which is becoming more and more interesting for the industry, I think.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Oh yeah, we do have one. When would you suggest that a group or band forms a GBR or something of that kind?
When you are forming a band, you're automatically a GBR, even without setting up a contract. The German law says as soon as you form a company and you are focusing on a purpose, then you're becoming automatically a GBR. The disadvantage of a GBR is that if if a third party is approaching you with damage fees or something, and the GBR is not able to cover the cost, then you have to cover it with your private income. So if you are about to getting into a long-lasting contract relationships with your band members, then a GmbH would be better, because you have to invest 25K to start the GmbH, but if it comes to damage fees, then only the GmbH have to cover the cost, and you're not forced to cover it with your private income. But I think most of the bands are GBRs.
All right, perfect. I think then we might need to close off soon. There are no additional questions. No, let me do it. I think so. If there are no additional questions, thank you so much, Ingrid, for your time, your knowledge,
welcome.
your
Thanks for
expertise.
having me.
Thank you for your wisdom as a music lawyer. Not enough of that wisdom going around these days. So, all right, thank you guys. If there are additional questions, for sure. But if not, then Ingrid, thank you. And we're going to be playing some music, and then there's going to be meet and greet in the Wonder Room. And we'll be back here at 2:20 for Andrea. Besides that, thank you so much, Ingrid.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And yeah, have a great day. And
All right, perfect. All right, thank you, Ingrid.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Val, thank you.
Ciao.